Wondering how often to replace Momcozy M9 parts? Well, stick around. In this video, I'm going to walk you through which parts need replacing and how often. But let's start by talking about why these pump parts need to be replaced regularly. And one of the biggest things is your loss of suction. If you're noticing that your breast pump does not have the same suction that it used to when it was brand new out the box, it might be a sign that your pump parts need replacing. With any pump, you have your pump motor that drives and creates your suction, but the suction is also created by having the flange sealed against your breast. Over time, these parts can stretch and loosen and create little pockets for air to be drawn in, which reduces your overall suction. Again, you might find that you start having a few leaks and your pump's not holding your breast milk as it did previously. That can be, again, just the parts. These are all silicone, or a lot of these are silicone, just stretching and wearing over time, creating little areas where the milk can leak out. You might notice just over time, just general wear and tear. So you might find a few scratches if you've accidentally dropped your pump. You might find some of your harder plastics get discolored from using a sterilizer. They might even warp if you've used too high of a heat during sterilization. This all can potentially lead to areas which can harbor bacteria, which then can be harmful for your baby. So especially scratches, we want to make sure that our pumps don't have any damage to them. Your pump might even start sounding a lot noisier than what it normally was. That's, again, an indication that your parts are wearing and that they may need to be replaced. And then you might find too that your flange is just feeling a bit more uncomfortable than what it has been, which could be a sign that your flange has loosened a little bit or your flange inserts have stretched and it is time to replace them. So let's dive in and take a closer look at which pump parts should you replace and how often. And we'll start with your valve setup. So you have your Duckbill valve along with its lid. Now this actually comes as a combo when you are buying the original Momcozy replacement parts. Now I will just add, if you buy these off the Momcozy website, you can use my affiliate code PUMPINGMILK, and that will give you 15% off the whole entire site. So great if you need to replace your parts, grab the discount while you can. So back to your Duckbill valve, this is your two parts. You may notice, so this is a brand new one and you can see that this is nice and close together. You may notice that as this wears, it starts to open up a little and your seal then is no longer going to be as usable as if it is nice and tightly sealed. Again, it's all about creating your suction. So if you have a loss of suction, I would start with replacing your Duckbill valve. When it's open, it obviously lets the air in and it's not doing its job. So that is a simple, depending on your use, 1 to 3 months. So if you are an exclusive pumper, you'll be needing to replace this probably monthly. If you are somebody that's only an occasional pumper, you'll probably get 3 months out of it. So this one is generally a cause of loss of suction. Next, you have your diaphragm. Now, again, this comes in a two-part kit. I'll put it together for now. A two-part kit. This needs to be replaced every 2 to 3 months. Now, on the Momcozy site, they do recommend that you do not remove this part here for washing and cleaning. They recommend having it like that, and that's just so that you don't damage this part any further, because it is quite flimsy. So personal choice, given that it comes in contact with breast milk, I prefer to separate it, but that will mean that it will possibly wear a bit quicker. So if this stretches out of place, discolors, you get any scratches, it will need to be replaced. So every 2 to 3 months, you are looking at replacing your diaphragm. Again, your usage will come into play. Then you have your flange. Now your flange generally only needs to be replaced every 6 months or so. You may get longer, you may get a little bit less. If you get any scratches or any stretching on this, that is when you look to replace it. Your flange inserts, and sorry, I should have got one out prepped. Your flange inserts, however, they sit inside, so these are going to get a bit more stretch and pull, especially when you're pulling them out regularly to clean these. So you may only get 3 to 6 months usage out of your flange inserts before they need to be replaced. And then we have your bottles. Now your bottle comes with a lid when you are replacing it from the official Momcozy store. And these generally around 6 months. But again, any discoloration, any warping, any scratches, you will need to replace these straight away. And then you have your pump motor, which ideally won't need to be replaced. So hopefully this video helps. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And make sure you take advantage of that discount code for the 15% off the Momcozy website. It is pumping milk, and I'll also leave it in the comments. Cheers.